And so the structure in front of you on the PowerPoint shows you the 4 areas that seem to be really important. And it's interesting that a range of these are those that show up in other research around working with students. Mapping the islands and the people was around the importance of acknowledging the range of the Pasifika learners, and that they're all different and come from different places, and whether they're New Zealand born or born in the islands, all of those things make a difference to each learner's identity, and for teachers to take cognizance of that. We'll come into that in a minute. But forming the relationship, the real importance of relationships have on the Pasifika learners, but all learners really as well. It comes out of other research that forming that relationship is a really key thing. Did a bit of an exploration around Ako Pasifika, looking at, there is lots of knowledge that comes from a Pacific worldview, and that it's important for people to know that that exists and to have a look at it. And then the final part was understanding the importance of success for students. And we had hoped to use a couple of short videos showing the students telling us about that. But our glitches with the glitches here at CWA with technology mean we won't be able to do that today.
Okay, so as Heather discussed, as outlined, the first part of the project, or our Moodle online site, was mapping the island and the people. And so the whole purpose of this section is to allow educators and teachers to understand that there's diversity that amongst Pasifika learners, and that there is not just one Pacific student. So it allows you to actually start understanding that Pacific's people are very diverse and come from many different areas of the Pacific. And the whole idea of mapping the islands is the whole idea of the metaphor of the vast ocean that exists. The ocean is huge, and our people are come from many parts of the Pacific, and bring with them many different ways and different cultural ideas to their learning. This is a shot of our Moodle online site, and so it's a professional development site for staff to help them to understand their learners, and hopefully help them to devise strategies to engage with their learners better. As you can see, it's developed so that there is actually a group approach, but you can actually use the Moodle online site in an individual capacity. So it allows you to be able to research and gather information in a safe sort of environment. You don't have to do it in a group environment, you can do it by yourself. The first activity, we get staff to start thinking about who are Pasifika learners, where they come from, and it identifies the 7 largest Pasifika populations in New Zealand. We use the internet resources, a lot of internet resources, so we utilize Statistics New Zealand in some of the activities. And one of those activities, first we use Google Maps, so I think that's quite a unique way. We actually use the internet to start exploring the Pacific and look at how vast it is, and really get staff to understand that we don't all come from the same place, and it's quite a unique way of getting staff to understand how big and how vast the ocean is. And it's really about looking at where we come from and how far we've come to New Zealand. So it's getting a holistic approach to your learners and understanding where they are from, where their families are from. So exploring the Pacific Ocean is a good way to do that. And it utilizes the internet and all the resources that are out there on the net. Another example of another sample activity is we use, like I said before, we use Statistics New Zealand. staff go onto that website and gather some of the data that's there, and one of the examples is the last census count. And we ask staff to look at that census count and identify how different each group is and how big it is, and why do they think that certain Pacific nations have now come to New Zealand, and the fact that the Niuean group has been here for over 50 years rather than maybe the Tuvaluan Islanders have only just been here for a number of years. So it's a great activity, utilising again the internet. So the next part of the workshop is forming the relationship, and we move from looking at where our students are coming from to actually who they are in the context of New Zealand, and what is their environment and the factors that influence them when they come to study in the tertiary environment. This activity utilises the TEC DVD, which was developed. It's Knowing Your Learner, Engaging Pasifika Learners, and it's a resource that we thought that was important to utilise. There's a lot of videos that you can actually, that captures the whole idea of understanding the needs of Pasifika learners, and what factors are influencing them while they study. And in this activity, we were lucky enough to gather the voices of 4 recent graduates of Whitireia, and their voices and their discussion is valuable, is invaluable. They really explain, they explain how and why they came to tertiary study, and the importance of forming that relationship with their tutors, and if that relationship isn't formed, how that can be detrimental to their learning. So it's quite a powerful example of just the importance of just creating that relationship with the student. And so that's not just Pasifika learners, that's all learners. But I think rather than us saying this is what you should do, I think it was powerful because the students stated how important it was to form that relationship with their tutors so that they can get, so they can have a productive learning experience.
Well, it's interesting to hear when they were being filmed, the students said things that I hadn't thought of at all beforehand in terms of some of the body language of some of their tutors and how they would interpret that. And so the filming direct, getting the direct voice of the students into here has been, we were lucky to have the funding to create these videos, and to listen to them was really interesting. And I think for staff to hear the direct student voice of these recent graduates, ones who have been successful, what it was that worked for them and what gets in the way for them.
So again, it emphasised time, that you need to take time to form those relationships. And although that can seem like it's going to take too much time out of your timetable, if you can create those important relationships with your students at the beginning, then you can actually, it's a foundation that you can set your learning for the course. So if you create that relationship, then you have a firm foundation. With a firm foundation, then you can move into the learning. If you don't have that firm foundation, the students said that it was very hard for them to engage with their tutors because they either mistrusted them or felt that maybe they weren't valuing them as learners. So we encourage people to go to the DVD, Knowing Your Learner. It's available on it's like a plug, but you can access it on the TEC Literacy and Numeracy site, and it has many important points in there. So we just gathered 2 parts, which was Pasifika learners and the Making It Work and those links through our Moodle site, it means that the links, you don't have to search and research. You can actually just go onto the site and view the videos. And the great thing about it is that then forms discussion with your peers. So if you were doing this workshop in a group environment, you could watch it as a group and then discuss what was going on and what you agree or disagree with. Or if you feel that some of it you need time to just go through and research and watch it by yourself, you can go back to it. So that's the beauty of the Moodle website or online site. It means that it's there. It doesn't matter if you miss a workshop, you can still go back and revisit the chapters of the DVD or revisit what the students were saying. So I think we're really lucky that we actually gathered and captured those voices, because they're so important and probably critical to this project was the capturing of the voices of the students.
It felt really exciting when that happened, and it seemed to pull it all together. And some of what they said was really interesting to us, and we thought we might know. But it was, for me, the exciting bits were the bits I'd never thought of before, and got us thinking, and hopefully gets other people thinking too about what they can do. And I guess listening to the students is a really important thing.
So their voices, sometimes we forget to listen to our students because of the time factor and the pressures of working with large groups. But yes, it was really important, the time factor and that forming relationships. So the Moodle site, we also have discussion forums, if you can see on that slide. So staff can go onto the discussion forum and we can set questions or sort of discussion ideas, and then they can go on and in their own time discuss what's been either on the video or what we've said then.
The third area is Untitled Pasifika, and I was very taken with this quote from an Hawaiian educator, Manulani Aluli Maya, and just that sense of how can we work with our students so they can get into the front seat of the car, so they feel this education system is for and about and with them, and came across quite a range of really wonderful papers. And when the PowerPoint is put up for you, you'll be able to see some of those references later. We're not going for them today, but there's other wonderful speakers who are there whose papers just are inspirational to read and help us get to that point of view.
And with Untitled Pasifika, what we were trying to do is make it easy for staff to find information on how to engage with Pasifika learners, and make it easier for them to find out a little about what makes us click and what makes our experiences of tertiary education either positive or negative. So I think this activity is about getting us to understand that our research, or Pasifika research, is critical and important, because it's about discussing about what helps us and what doesn't help us when we're in the learning environment. And Heather gathered huge numbers of amazing information that we wanted to make sure that it was easy to read and that our staff could digest. So while there's a lot of literature, we decided on these resources because we felt they were easy to read, and they were powerful. They told what we were wanting to say. So we've got people like Cornell Haley-Bayman. There's a lot of information about Pasifika metaphors, actually using the Pacific worldview in your classrooms, using examples within the context of the subject, rather than always having a Western point of view, we've tried to look at introducing Pacific viewpoints within our classrooms.
We've got about 2 more minutes to go, I think. And just wondering, I haven't noticed any questions coming up in the box, but before we go into the final section, wondering if there are any questions you'd like to put in the chat box for us. Just while we're waiting then, in case there are any questions, then we'll go into the final section, which is student success, where we had hoped to show the little video. You can see the two of the lovely students showing up on the PowerPoint at the bottom there. But I guess what came through as well from students was how important it was for them and their families to celebrate their success.
And I think the Celebrating Success section was really just the 4 students discussing what it meant to succeed in education, succeed in their tertiary goals that they set for themselves. It discussed the fact, over and over, the students discussed the fact that, like Heather said, that it wasn't an individual achievement, although they had studied within the tertiary institute, that the achievement was for their family, for their community. So it's very much about that holistic idea of the group achievement rather than the individual achievement. Students talked about the struggle, the fact that they didn't understand what tertiary study was about, and that once they got in there, that they realized that they actually had to work really, really hard, and they actually had to adjust and accommodate their lifestyles, their family, and their community expectations. So in terms of that, they looked at the whole idea of the fact that succeeding is a celebration of not only their commitment, but their family's commitment. And they talked about that the families were there all along. They talked about that a lot of people maybe felt that they couldn't do it because maybe they were the first person in their family to succeed, so they needed to, they're the first person, so that will start a legacy of more of their family and community moving on to tertiary studies. So their achievement created them as role models, just like they had role models when they were growing up. So it's unfortunate that we can't show you the videos, but the videos are powerful, and I think that the videos, in conclusion, the videos are probably the most powerful part of our project. And I think the other thing that's important and we're really proud of is the fact that staff can go onto this this online site whenever they need to, whenever they're feeling that they don't know how to engage or things are not going right in their classrooms, they can go and utilize the site. So we're constantly updating it, changing it depending on what we need to include in there.
So, thank you everyone for joining us today. I feel a bit like Aunt Dave saying that. Yeah, it's been lovely to be able to share it with you, and I hope you've gained something from the webinar. Please get in contact with us if you wish at Whitireia, if you wish to know more, and we look forward to continuing to work together. Kia ora.
Whakawalahi for everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're very happy with the site, and we hope that it can influence some change and some strengthening of staff working with Pasifika learners. So thanks very much.